I wear my trunks on the outside of my pants. Like, it's liberating.
Hey guys, this is Ukes Figures, back again with another Superman 2025 movie figure review, except this time we're taking a look at a custom that I just made. This is my customized McFarlane DC Multiverse Superman figure. This one was a ton of fun to make, though it came with its challenges, such as messing up a head sculpt twice, and also I learned a couple new skills, such as making capes. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But first, I wanted to just do a quick overview between the two figures, between my custom and the deluxe McFarlane figure. My goal when I set out to do this project was to try to make it look more movie accurate and also more realistic. The McFarlane one is especially very plasticky compared to a lot of the other McFarlane Toys movie figures, so I really wanted to elevate the figure's detail and spruce it up so it looked like a more premium figure and more like a realistic actual guy in a costume. So the specific body I'm using for this figure is actually the regular release. So the first thing I did was I heated it up and I took the cape off by taking his neck and kind of pulling it forward. And then I had to prep him for paint rub. So I took the entire figure apart, all the joints apart, split it up. This is something very basic. You can just find the tutorial on YouTube on how to do it. So pretty much the goal is to eliminate paint rub by getting rid of the space where the joints could rub on each other. You can see the one here on the left already has some of the joints sanded down and some of the rub points cut off. That's pretty much what I'm about to show you. You can sand down the joints, which I always do, but you can also do things such as taking a little knife and cutting the joints up a little bit, just a little bit. You don't want to go too overboard, but just so those edges of things like the kneecaps and the elbows don't rub up against the joints and against the arms, so you don't get paint rub there. After that, I was ready to paint. Now, the costume in the movie is a very weird color. I had to do my research and spend minutes upon minutes compiling different pictures, and I came up with a reference board which looked like this. The blue, the yellow, and the red are the base colors that I wanted to go with for this figure. For the base blue color, I used three main paints. This is the Tester's acrylic, okay, make sure it's acrylic, and this Vallejo Sky Gray. You can see here, I'm gonna show my process. I really just eyeball everything, all right? You don't have to be too specific about it. I think the best way to do it is just feel it out. Practice makes perfect, but I'm mixing my colors here. I already have a little bit of green in the palette, but mixing some blue, mixing some, I think this one I actually use white instead of gray, but I'd recommend using gray. And you want to make sure that the paint is really thin, all right? You want milk consistency. If it's too thick, it's gonna be really rough and globby, and it's not gonna look great. After my base coat was done, the blue looked like this. Now, I think this is pretty accurate to the blue color I wanted to pick, so I was happy with it for now. And you can see here how important it was to prep it for paint rub because I'm moving it around and there are no paint rub. There's no paint rub. The joints are completely fine. There's no chipping or anything like that. It's perfect. That's exactly what you want. After I did that, I went in with some diluted blue paint and added some shading around the areas like his chest and like his abs and his biceps, stuff like that. Just places that the actual costume would crease and there'd be some shadowing there. You can see here I'm just watering down the paint and just adding a little bit of paint, a little bit of paint wash right here, right in the chest. So it's just to make it look like there's more detail, and it's pretty much simulating the actual shadows that you'd see on the actual screen used costume, because yes, the screen used costume does have shadows. Next up, I added some more gray and a little bit of yellow, and you might be asking, what's the yellow for? Well, actually, it's added some more shading, but this time some highlight shading, some color variation. So by adding the yellow and gray, the blue becomes a little bit lighter, and there's more variation there. It's almost like it's being highlighted with an airbrush, although this time I didn't use an airbrush because it was too much work. So I just dusted on using a dry brush technique, which is exactly what it sounds like, just kind of feathering it on there, not going too harsh, but just enough so you can actually see the color. Next up, I had to do the line work on his costume. Now this is kind of complicated for me because I don't know what color these are in the movie. In every picture, it looks like it's a different color. Sometimes it looks brighter, sometimes it looks darker, sometimes it looks metallic, so I went with a metallic paint. But straight out of the bottle, the paint was a little bit too dark and too saturated for my liking. So I added a little bit of Tester's silver in there, and that looked much better to me. I wanted the color to look pretty similar to the base color of the costume, but shimmery enough to where there was some sort of distinguished color there. Next up, I had the logo to worry about. And if I bring the McFarlane figure over here, you can see that there's the yellow outline outside the logo, but then there's another exterior blue outline outside of the yellow. But that's not movie accurate. In the movie, there's no blue outline at all. There's a little bit of a crease between the red and the yellow, but it's not too thick, so I don't understand what that was. But the way I went about this was I painted the yellow logo and then a little orange-brown line right in the middle, and then the yellow exterior. But the reason I did this was so the yellow didn't look too thick, but there was still kind of a dividing line between the red and the yellow, with the little brown-orange line in the middle. Of course, I also shaded the logo because in the movie there's like some sort of shading around the red and the yellow, and this was actually pretty fun to do. I used a lot of different paints for the logo, so here are all of them. Yeah, that was a lot. I sprayed everything with Mr. Super Clear Matte, and then I was on my way. Like I mentioned, I used the regular standard release, and so I was going to use that head sculpt. I was going to remove the paint with my favorite non-acetone nail polish remover, and I did it, and I was ready to paint. All right, so it was all good. Then I realized somehow his lip got like melted off. So I went, that's no biggie, you know, I'll continue it, I'll paint it up. So I painted it up, and I didn't like it. I did not like the way it looked at all. It looks horrible. You can tell his lip went missing. I don't know what happened to his lip. I was not using acetone at all, so I don't know how it could have melted off. Maybe the non-acetone remover I was using was a little bit too strong or something, but I doubt it because that's never happened to me before. So I was back to square one. So my solution was just recast the deluxe figure I have, and then I'll just use that. So I did that. I don't have an actual work in progress video of me painting the head sculpt, but I do have a couple videos on my channel about my general painting process. I hope to do some more videos about actually hands-on painting in the future, but I just couldn't with this one. I do have a few work in progress pictures though, so you can kind of see my method of how I paint, though they're probably not too helpful. I'm gonna mention this though because I want to be 100% honest with you guys. I'm not really happy with this head sculpt. The paint job itself, I think technically speaking, is well done enough. But the problem with the original head sculpt was that the paint was just way too caked on. And that's what I tried doing by removing the paint, but then I melted it. So when I recasted it, that scuffed up paint, that thick paint was still on there. So when I painted over it, that texture, that rough texture is still on the head sculpt. So it looked kind of messy. And I know it's not technically my fault, but I'm still not pleased with it. That being said, I did remove the seam lines at the side of the face. I did resculpt them and also resculpted the hair a little bit, but you can't really notice at all. And with that, I have officially painted the 3 major Superman figures from this movie. The McFarlane, of course, the Spin Master, and the Spin Master 12-inch figure. Let me know, guys, in the comments, which one's your favorite? I gotta go with the 12-inch Spin Master head. It was a ton of fun to paint. I've never painted anything this huge, and it really challenged my skill set in ways I've never done before. Of course, if I wanted to upgrade this regular version of the figure, I needed to replace this rubber cape. Originally, I went to Hobby Lobby and got some fabric, and it was horrible. It was way too thick, it creased a lot. It was almost like the quality of fabric that you'd make a suit out of. So I went to Walmart and I got this $3 thing of fabric, and this was way, way better. Obviously, it's not some premium, super nice fabric, but it's just really nice for how cheap it was. Flows really well, the texture is really nice, the color is great. It has this weird metallic kind of shine to it, but I'm kind of digging it, at least for this version of the character. I'm really pleased with the material. I didn't really have a set template I used for the shape of the cape. I mostly kind of eyeballed it, but I definitely used inspiration from customizer Inkadrop Customs here on YouTube. And for the logo on the back of the cape, I actually wanted to try something new. I got this yellow iron-on transfer vinyl, and I pretty much cut out the logo and then I ironed it onto the back of the cape. This is something that I picked up on from Ibrahim Mustafa. He's an amazing customizer and comic book artist and creator here on YouTube. He made like a Mezco style custom Superman, and he did the same iron-on method, and I want to try that out, and I'm pretty pleased with the results. The logo could definitely be cleaner, but for a first attempt, it's not bad. Okay, so here's another point of contention for this figure. In the movie, the cape kind of tucks into his suit towards the front of his collarbone, and when you bring the regular release, or the battle damage release in this case, that's what they do. It's tucked into the front, right? Because it's a rubber cape. But if you bring in the deluxe version or my custom, there's not a lot of room to tuck it into the front unless you're willing to do a lot of drilling and sanding, and that wasn't something I was comfortable with doing because I didn't want to ruin the sculpt. So I decided to just tuck it into the sides, and you can fold it over to make it look like it's coming from the front. And another thing that's really, really confusing me, especially as I did research for this video, is the back logo. Okay, so if I bring in the plastic cape here, the logo has the outer line, just like the front chest logo, right? It has the outside line outside of the main S. But if I bring in the deluxe version, there is no extra line. It's just a solid black border. Look at this shot from the behind the scenes featurette, okay? And then look at this poster. There's no outer line of the logo, okay? So, all right, I made a mistake. It's all inaccurate. Look at this shot from the trailer. No, don't stop. Don't look at Baby Joey. The other, yeah, okay, the logo. This has the outer line on it. And while I was editing this video, James Gunn just posted something, and guess what? In the back of the picture, there's a cape with 2 lines on it. What's going on? Are there 2 capes? What's going on here? None of this ultimately matters, but it was just really interesting to me that this could possibly be a thing that I just discovered. Also, the logo is not the right size. I made it way too big compared to the screen used suit, but it's artistic interpretation, right? No, I just made a mistake, but I like the way it looks, so I'm keeping it. Now that I showed you the process of how I made this figure, here's the final product. I am relatively satisfied with the finished product. I think it looks way more screen accurate and just looks better in my opinion, but it's still not fully satisfying for me, at least. There are things like the head sculpt I mentioned and the cape that are a little bit of a downer for me, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. I can always go back and fix it. I think the main thing I was worried about is, would this figure look good in natural sunlight? And yes, it definitely looks great in natural sunlight. Honestly, I think this is the best the figure has ever looked. Where was this figure when I was making it? How this happened, right? You know, so that definitely took some stress off me. I mean, I think it looks pretty decent, if I do say so myself. Definitely happier with it now. Of course, here it is with my other Superman movie figures and with every other character I have from the movie. Also, I recently just got Lex, and I'm not going to do a review on it or a custom video on it, but I really like it. I repainted the face. These head sculpts might be the best of the entire line, I'm going to be honest. I'm surprised. I mean, the head sculpt looked good in the original paint job, but with my paint job, you know, not to toot my own horn, but I think I really elevated the look of these sculpts. It looks like the dude. It looks like Nicholas Hoult. What can I say? Definitely super happy to have these two customs in my hand. I'm even happier that I have a 1/10 scale coffee mug because I can recreate this scene from the trailer, which I absolutely loved. I loved when Lex Luthor just kind of trolls Superman.
Good luck with that.
So overall, not every custom can be perfect or turn out the way you want it to, but I'm pretty satisfied with this. You know, it has its caveats, but it's still pretty solid in my opinion. It definitely looks great as the front and center figure on my new Superman movie display, so I'm definitely really happy with that. Am I going to get the Fawn Joy at some point? Probably. And am I going to customize it? 100%. Am I going to make a video on it? And I don't know. It depends on how well this video does and how relevant the movie is whenever that figure comes out. Speaking of when the movie comes out, I'm currently doing a series where I'm reviewing one figure from my Superman collection every single day until the movie comes out. I'm doing 50 figures, 50 days. I'm towards the end of the series already, guys. I'm on day 29 as of today, so that's crazy. Also, I do have commissions opened up right now just for paint jobs. Unfortunately, I'm not doing any full, like, sculpted, full-out custom figure commissions. But if you want a head sculpt or a figure painted by me, hit me up on Instagram. All the details are on my Instagram, so go check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I had a lot of fun making this figure and making the video, and I think honestly all of it stems from my pure excitement for this movie. Again, I can't wait. I can't believe we're less than 3 weeks out. And you best believe I got those early fan screening tickets. I cannot wait, dude. I'm actually so excited. If you have any more questions about this figure, how I made it, leave me a comment. I'm down to have a conversation. You know, I'm always open. And again, if you liked what you saw here, a like, subscribe, a follow on Instagram at UkesFigures, and you know, while you're at it, a follow on my TikTok at UkesFigures. That would be much appreciated. I'll see you again in the next video, whenever that may be. But as always, up and away.